Hello, we will be reacting to a very tragic video, okay? As you can see from the title. But, Ariana, if you're a Jessie fan, see this video right now. Don't even look back, okay? When it's finished uploading, see the freaking video. Okay, this is tragic. This is some serious stuff that we need to talk about. And people say that they believe that he's not dead. If you die from, I had a seizure when I was like 5 years old. When I had a seizure from a fever, yeah, that rhymed. I have a seizure from a fever, but his seizure is different, so you will know. In 3, 2, 1, tragedy.
Your hair is unique. Shouldn't your
Freaking
conditioner be too?
dang,
Now
man.
there's a foam for fine, delicate hair, a milk gel for fine damaged, and a creme for thick hair. Introducing new Dove Ultra Care Conditioners. Nourishing care that truly gets your hair. From a very young age, while many of his fellow...
Oh, sorry, I was watching it before.
I'm Cameron Boyce from Descendants, and you're watching Disney Channel. Did you ever imagine you would be so successful? We all go. I hope that all of you really think about what it is that you want to leave.
I'm going to try to keep my head up and stay positive, because I know that's what Cameron would want us to all do.
Cameron Boyce was only 20 years old, but he had an impressive acting resume, including his role on the Disney Channel series Jessie. He was also proud to be a part of the popular Descendants franchise and befriended many of his co-stars, including Sophia Carson and Dove Cameron. It seemed like everything was going well for this star, and fans were devastated by the news of his seemingly abrupt passing. Many were shocked to learn Cameron was suffering from a medical condition he preferred to keep out of the public eye. Instead, let's take a look at the amazing life Cameron led and some incredible accomplishments you might not have heard of. Like many stars, Cameron Boyce was interested in performing from a very young age. While many of his fellow celebs got their start doing simple commercials or modeling gigs, Cameron's introduction to fame was a little bit different. He made his television debut in the music video for That Green Gentleman, Things Have Changed by the group Panic at the Disco. How's that for a noteworthy introduction to television? The video shows the band members as children, and Cameron was chosen to play the younger version of the now former Panic at the Disco guitarist Ryan Ross. If you know anything about Cameron Boyce, you might not be surprised to know that music played a big part in his introduction to show business. It was a passion of his since he was a child, and he credits it to helping him make it in the entertainment industry. Specifically, Cameron loved to dance, and his family was always supportive of his passion for the arts. Cameron grew up in Los Angeles along with his younger sister, Maya Boyce. The two siblings were always close and loved spending their free time together. Cameron has described his mother Libby as his inspiration and said she was the one who ignited his interest in charity. According to Cameron, his mother always advised him to do his best, to look on the bright side of things whenever life got him
Freaking ad right when the serious parts. That actually looked kind of cool though. What was that supposed to be?
down. She suggested he recognize the bad and do his best to cut it out, and then take whatever good he felt, whether it's a person or a scenario, and run with that as opposed to the negative. It sounds like Libby is definitely an optimist, and this positive attitude was imparted on her son. Cameron's mother is of Jewish descent, and both she and Cameron were interested in learning more about their heritage. Cameron's father, Victor, was his best friend and wasn't able to be brutally honest with his son when the situation called for it. He knew from an early age that Cameron was talented supported and encouraged him to fulfill his potential and avoid wasting his considerable talent. While this may seem harsh, Cameron knew it was coming from a good place, and says this lesson stuck with him throughout his career. When speaking of his father, Cameron described him as his best friend and his light. While Cameron had to hustle in order to make it in the entertainment industry, he had no shortage of support from his loving family. In fact,
Sorry for the pause, but I said the wrong name. Gach's plaz. You have to hear this. If you're a Jesse fan, hopefully you are. Any Jesse fan out there, y'all gotta watch this video. And Gotcha, especially Gotcha's plaz. Gotcha's plaz. If you're a Jesse fan, see this, hear me out. Cameron Royce is okay. Alright, so
his family
just see the rest of the video.
has some interesting and inspiring moments in their history. His grandmother, Joanne Boyce, was impacted by the 1964 Supreme Court ruling of Brown versus Board of Education. This momentous ruling forced Clinton High School in Clinton, Tennessee to desegregate and allow children regardless of race to receive an education. Disney XD and the Disney Channel commemorated Joanne's story in their Be Inspired series in celebration of Black History Month. Cameron claims his grandmother stood strong for what she believed in, despite the difficulties she faced doing so. He stated, "Things are going to happen in your life and you're going to face adversity. But if you grow from that and learn from that, you're a better person because of it." Those are definitely some wise words worth remembering, and ones Cameron himself did his best to live by. Cameron came from a background with a lot of history, but he also knew he had a role to play when it comes to progress. He was always keenly aware that being biracial comes with a certain set of challenges, especially when you're trying to make it in Hollywood. It's one thing to be proud of your heritage, but it's another to actively work to improve things for other people who look like you. Cameron pointed out that lead roles are especially difficult to obtain for minority actors, but he hoped that would change in the future, and he could help make it a reality. Regarding this important issue of race, it seems like Cameron maintained his mother's sense of optimism and said he believed the world was on the right track. In fact, his desire to see barriers broken down would later be a factor in his acting career for the Descendants franchise. Shortly after making his television debut in the Panic at the Disco music video, he appeared in a recurring role on the soap opera General Hospital Night Shift. The same year, he also appeared in a feature film for the first time with his role in the horror film Mirrors. It's safe to say 2008 was an exceptionally busy year for Cameron, filled with exciting firsts. He was in another movie, this time a mystery thriller called Eagle Eye, which starred Shia LaBeouf, Michelle Monaghan.
Okay, when I deleted Instagram, my mom would have let me Alright, when I was at somebody's house, I deleted Instagram. So I might get Instagram back at the age of 10. Yeah, I'm about to turn 10 in 1 month. At the age of 10, I might,
Next, Cameron appeared in the movie Grown Ups with famous actor Adam Sandler, and would go on to act in the
Adam
sequel Grown Ups 2
Sandler.
a few years later. Cameron apparently made quite the impression on Adam, who expressed his sincerest condolences in light of his passing. He described Cameron as too young, too sweet, too funny, just the nicest, most talented, and most decent kid around. He noted Cameron's love for his family and his love for the world around him. Adam claimed his heart had been broken by the passing of his former co-star. Like so many of us, Cameron grew up as a huge fan of media produced by Disney. He claimed how we are raised has a big impact on who we become as adults and what we are interested in. In addition to being raised to advocate for social issues and racial equality, Cameron was also constantly surrounded by Disney. He admitted to being a fan of shows like Hannah Montana and That's So Raven, just like pretty much all of his peers. Cameron
That's so Raven. That's so Raven. Alright, that's my show, bro. That's so Raven. That's so Raven. Every time I used to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, turn on the TV, and watch That's So Raven. And they have Raven's Home now. If you don't know that, okay. So They said, well, before when I watched the different video, they said that Jesse is dead without them. You heard the reveal of Jesse having new episodes. Jesse is dead now, but people say they having more, like they running back all of the episodes. So if you have never seen Jesse, go see it right now. And if you have saw Panic of the Disco, The Green Gentleman, all that stuff, all the movies, see it. If you saw them, where Cameron Boyce was in there, all the movies and stuff, you saw them. Watch the Jesse Marathon and watch this video.
Claimed he had always been a very observant person and loved watching actors on the Disney Channel. He did his best to take note of their facial expressions, tone of voice, and mannerisms while they were performing. Even before he had his first Disney audition, he already had a great feel for the channel and the kind of content they were interested in producing. Being a Disney fan turned out to be a serious asset in this star's career. According to Cameron, working for Disney was unlike any other acting job he's ever had. He said the projects required a massive amount of energy and being able to enunciate things well for a young audience. And speaking of that young audience, Cameron always acknowledged that part of the job was being a role model for those watching. He lived the part so well, he said people he encountered in real life would be shocked to hear him curse or say something less than family friendly. His first Disney project was on the Disney Channel series Good Luck Charlie, and he later appeared as one of the featured dancers on Shake It Up. Eventually, he landed a major role co-starring as Luke Ross in the Disney Channel comedy series Jessie. Not only was he a hit on the show, but with his fellow cast members as well. Sky Jackson was devastated by the loss of Cameron and said he was truly one of a kind. She counts herself fortunate she got to spend so much time working with him on Jessie and described him as the big brother I never had. Fellow Jessie alum Charles Eston claimed Cameron was a joy to work with and treated his fellow cast members as if they were his own family. But according to Cameron, it was his role in the Descendants franchise which really made him feel as though he had made it in the entertainment industry. He played the role of Carlos, the son of notorious 101 Dalmatians villain Cruella de Vil in Descendants, Descendants 2, and Descendants Wicked World. Sadly, Cameron passed away only a month before Descendants 3 was due to hit theaters. He was excited about the premiere and said his dream scene would be the Descendants breaking down barriers with their evil parents and having a confrontation with them. Cameron always loved working on the Descendants, but didn't realize how big of a deal it would be at the time. But when Descendants director Kenny Ortega texted him a photo of his face on the side of a bus in London, he started to understand the gravity of the situation. After all, Cameron had never been to London himself, despite wanting to travel. Later, Kenny would be among those who posted a moving tribute to Cameron on social media. He claimed Cameron left a piece of his heart with those who encountered him and vowed to carry on his loving spirit forward. Cameron claimed it could be difficult to decide which projects had a good chance of being successful. He believed Descendants 3 would be his final film with Disney, at least for the immediate future. He was finally ready to move on and take projects of a more mature nature and test the limits of his acting ability. In addition to taking on a bigger variety of roles, he also looked forward to expanding into writing